Hello everybody, welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel. Post the kickoff, I'm quickly going to grab you and stick the camera in your face.
James.
Always on air. And Elliot's here as well. Did you watch the whole game? When you're down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you can come in and...
That's right,
because we haven't heard from you at all. Go on, Elliot. Talk us through that game.
I watched Stoke.
Oh, right, you watched Stoke. Alright, wasting our
I don't
time.
know why, because it was 0-0 and Pulis came into town. Well, I don't know what I expected, but yeah, it was a woeful.
Okay. Well, let's talk Liverpool, Arsenal. Cracking game.
Yeah, it was a good game of football, wasn't it?
I thought it was going to end up inevitably being like a cracking 0-0. But we've got a couple of goals in the second half. When you kind of simmer it all down, what did we learn about Liverpool? What did we learn about Arsenal?
I think Klopp's taking a slightly different approach in these bigger games. He's a little bit more cautious, and I think it's not a bad thing when you want to win the title. Well, Mourinho's sides, when they're good sides in the Premier League or in any other league, are always like this in the bigger games. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Being a little bit more pragmatic is a good thing for Jurgen Klopp. The changes were good, bringing on the centre-back in the last few minutes of the game. They're good changes. But they're changes that I'm like, that's good.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to lose this game.
Because I think with Klopp, it's like he talks about heavy metal football and just going for it all the time. It does feel different. It does feel a bit more calculated.
Which is what you need.
Is that just to kind of to make sure that you've got enough, you don't run out of steam for the whole of the season?
It's
or
more
just
about
game management?
Yeah, it's game management. It's those top six sides. You've got to be beating them, or you've got to be beating them at home. You don't lose away. That's it. That's the game. You do that, you win the league. And it's simply that he needs to win the league. That's how he's going to do it, and it's not bad.
Does that mean that Klopp's changed a bit?
Yeah, slightly. I think he's changed a little bit. Yeah, sort of evolving. I think his Dortmund sides were never much. The title-winning sides weren't like that. They would see the games out. They always had players that could do things. But it is slightly different, this team now. It's a different team, it's a different beast. And you look and they exploited Arsenal in the right way. They pulled the centre-halves wide, they crossed the ball low. That's what you wanted to do against those centre-halves. And I think what he could maybe look at changing again, like Fabinho could have taken off a bit earlier and introduced Shaqiri a bit earlier if he wanted to go for it. But he didn't. That was his approach.
The one thing I felt what I learned in terms of Shaqiri, it felt like he got a bit flat for Liverpool when Shaqiri came on. I really think that he's so talented, but I actually think he only think he works when you're dominating the game. I wonder if he
didn't have a lot of the ball. I think that's the big thing.
But doesn't he then need? I feel like he then, when he did get the ball, well, no, he can't really do the pressing to get the ball. But then when he did get the ball, I didn't feel like he really had too many people around him. Whereas when it's those games that they dominate possession, they're in the other half in the final third. I feel like he sort of comes to life. Well, Elliot, you know Shaqiri, obviously.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
You know him personally.
I don't know him personally.
Would you agree with that? Because I was chatting with Craig, who's also on Bear Pit TV, does great touch, and he was saying, we were both saying we were wondering if he was going to be able to do it at Liverpool, if he was going to be good enough. And I think you can see he's got the talent, but in games like that, I felt that they lost momentum once he came on.
I think it was already like that, right?
Yeah, the game was changing. I don't think it was probably right for him. For me, he's more of a slower pace game kind of thing, and that was quite end-to-end and quite frantic. And it kind of doesn't play. That's quite his style.
That makes sense. It doesn't really play to his strengths in terms of that athleticism. And final one, I'll let you go and then I'll have a chat myself. But Arsenal.
I'll talk to myself.
Arsenal.
You guys, the viewers.
What do you think of Arsenal?
They're good. They're good.
You've been rooting for them from day one.
I like Emery. Emery's one of my favourite coaches in the world, and you look at what he's implemented at Arsenal is what he should have implemented at PSG. He didn't because of the personalities. Thomas Tuchel's having a similar problem out there now. It's a bad team to manage. They're not players that you want to have in the same dressing room. Arsenal, the polar opposite. He's built a team already. They're already a team. You see the link up with Lacazette, with Aubameyang. You see what Iwobi's doing off the bench. And having another good game. Probably should have started. I would have probably said there. Granit Xhaka's like a different footballer than he was 10 games ago.
Yeah.
Like we've played 11 games in the Premier League so far. Will Arsenal have the improvements are incredible. He's coaching that side. He's animated on the touchline. Lacazette looks like a breath of fresh air in terms of at Lyon. He was like this. This was Lacazette at Lyon. A bit of his confidence went last season, but now we're seeing the Lacazette that I saw, the one that links the player that's technically a very good footballer. That is almost a nine that you want. You want in the modern day. You want a technical nine that can play the ball, that can play it one touch. Meaning that you're going to get the best out of Ozil because he likes one touch players. And that's the interesting side. We're seeing that Ramsey came on, was pretty poor.
Looks a bit lost.
There's a few times where the Arsenal were popping it around. They need to take a bad touch, or he'd be quick enough, and that's something that they need to work on. Whether Danny Welbeck would have been a better option earlier instead of bringing Ramsey on in that situation. They wanted some movement from midfield, but it wasn't quite right.
Yeah.
And I think with Arsenal, they'll be a very, very good team. When Koscielny comes back, they'll be an excellent team. And that'll be the difference. Hector Bellerin could have done a little bit more in the final third today. That shot that went just wide. I expected him to be a little bit more important going forward.
Liverpool dealt with him more.
They did quite well. I thought it was more on the left-hand side for Arsenal and the right-hand side for Liverpool, where the key battle there was in that final third. But, again, Arsenal, the most points from a losing position in the Premier League this season. So they are doing good.
Cracking little stat at the end there, Dave. I'll let you go.
See you later,
Very
buddy.
good. Thank you, Dave. Right. A few more of my thoughts just quickly. I think Dave hit the nail on the head there with a lot of it. A couple of players I wanted to kind of just talk about. Let's start off with Arsenal, and I think like Dave said, Lacazette is you are really seeing the quality he's got now. I feel like last season there was a feeling with Wenger that he couldn't play up top on his own and that he needed some help, and therefore he didn't really fit the team a lot of the time and ended up being a bit of a bit part player, which is ridiculous for a £50 million striker. And you can see he's got not only that quality to get the goals, he missed a couple of chances, but that finish was, I don't want to go as far as saying world class, but it was a fantastic bit of play where he knew what to do in the penalty box. The second touch was a little bit sort of stronger than other players would do, but he understood how much time he had, which was not a little, and he had to utilise it as quickly and as well as possible, and he did that brilliantly. And to get the angle to allow him to get the goal, and I thought that was superb. And also his hold-up play was cracking as well for most of the game. I think what Emery has done is, and you've seen it now, because this was the test. We were waiting to see just how good this side are, and they can hold their own. Away from home, it's going to be interesting to see how drilled they are as well. I still think, you look at the squads and the subs for both sides here, then there are different levels. Liverpool have more options coming off the bench, and there is still a problem, as well drilled as they can be with a good coach in Emery. Arsenal are going to struggle sooner or later. Defensively, I thought Holding was great today. I thought he was really, really good today. There were some moments where he read the game. And I think both centre-backs were fantastic for both teams, actually. And Van Dijk is a class above in this league. The best centre-back in the Premier League. He doesn't even make tackles, really. It's just interceptions. And he is the Rio Ferdinand of this generation. He is an unbelievable footballer. Liverpool were a lot more conservative. They're normally just a side that goes for it, and there's so much hard work and positivity that they blow the minds of the opposition. This is a much more considered Liverpool team who understands how good the squad is, and they're utilising it properly. I felt like the Shaqiri substitution didn't work. I feel like Salah is still... He's in his own head a little bit, and he needs to just play a bit more instinctively like he was last season. And that's going to come sooner or later because he's quality. But I think you saw it actually with Mane last season, that Mane was the man the season before that, and then the pressure kind of got to him a little bit. Overall, that front three is still deadly and still going to score so many goals this season. So they're going to be right up there, and they're still unbeaten. And they've had a much harder run of games than Man City have, who are obviously the main title rivals against them. I think that's about it, really. But yeah, my man of the match has got to be Van Dijk, just because of how much he stood out. But I think it's a massive plus for Emery in the process of what he's trying to achieve at Arsenal. They're moving forwards, and they've come through that test. They would have taken a draw, and they've got it, and they've done well. So those are my thoughts. Lars, you got any thoughts very quickly?
Yeah, of course.
Very quickly.
Yeah. Are you doing a live stream or not?
No.
Oh, okay. Hi, guys. Liverpool were good today, but not good enough. I think that when we bring Shaqiri on, then things need to change shape-wise. We need to play more to him.
Here's the question. Here's the one question I want to ask you as a Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
After that game, do you feel more worries, or did you feel more comfort in the squad and the
question,
aims of the season?
I felt, you know what? I still feel comfort, mainly because we could have got away with one. And we actually probably should have been 2-1 up at that point because of the disallowed goal. My problem is we're not creating enough chances, which I think clear-cut goal-scoring chance. And because Liverpool are a buccaneering side, you sort of make anything to a chance.
Yeah.
For me, there's not enough where it's like, wow, we've created something there. Wow, we've created something. A lot of people are saying that's because of Buvac, the assistant coach, going, and that organisation and the patterns, those sort of things. Yeah. So I worry about that. That's my main concern, is will we struggle more? We did struggle against City. We don't want to Are we struggling in the transition? And will that maybe serve us later on in the season when we can integrate players like Lallana, etc.? I think at this point, no one's given away the title. It's 10 games in, isn't it? It's a long season. Would be my reply.
I think that's Klopp's number one thing is let's make sure we're in the running when it gets to March, and that's why I think he's just been a bit more calculated, which could work.
Next weekend, the derby. So
Derby's gonna be interesting.
you're on that show?
Yes.
I believe you are.
Yes.
Will you be wearing the other XO kit?
I haven't got the other one yet, but they are available at KitLooker.
Okay, yeah.
The link is
You
in
do
the
look good
description.
in that. That's
Thanks,
a nice
mate.
kit.
I'm enjoying it. It's very good. I'm enjoying this as well.
Thanks.
Very
And you got
nice.
Nick's jacket. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, this was
We're
great.
waffling.
Thanks for having me. See you later.
Thanks, Lawrence. Okay, so that's my thoughts, Lawrence's thoughts, Elliot's thoughts, and Statman Dave's thoughts on Liverpool versus Arsenal. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to do this after each kickoff, then let me know in the comments below. Hit the like button. No, they're screaming. And subscribe to the James Lawrence Allcott channel. I'll see you soon. Cheers.